What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Serious Angler podcast, powered by our friends over at X2 Power Batteries. And as always, I'm your host, Bailey Egbrett, and joined with me is the captain, Mr. Andy Full. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, just another day. My daughter had surgery. Today's Thursday. We're recording this yesterday, so she was not really allowed to do anything. So I pretty much sat on the couch and vegged out with her all day and watched Disney movies. So that was pretty fun.
I love that you start every show with, "Oh, just another day," but you're like, "My daughter had surgery today." Like, "Oh, it's just another day." Like,
it is at this point. It's just another day because you don't know what is going to happen in the next 20 minutes in this household. So
especially in the full household for 2022. I
yeah,
swear to God, it was something like I thought my life was eventful-ish, and it was a new day. Like if you would go and you'd like look at my life, and it's kind of like it's busy, it's a little hectic, and then like Andy, it's like there's a tornado, there's a monsoon, there's a dragon flying in the background.
But we're here, dude. We're here.
And he's just floating down the river, just minding his own business, fishing. Like it just, yeah.
What could have went wrong in 2022. We'll just go there. But the fishing was good, so I can't complain about the fishing by any means.
Well, there's some good that came out of it.
Yeah, I mean, look at the bad side, right? Boat broke, bought a new boat. That set me back quite a bit. Had a lot of weather issues, a lot of health issues on the family side. So yeah, it's been a 2022, and 2023 is looking up. So that's the good news.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you can look at that as a win, though. I mean, new boat, which you're in love with, and you get to fish for your occupation now.
Yeah.
Munchkins do it good, and you have a good family health thing that I don't know if you've even said yet. That's going well.
No. Yeah, it's going great. Yeah, we're not really talking about that though too much. So yeah, as now everybody knows probably what it is, but
I mean, there's a few people that know, but I'm sure some people are like, I don't know what the heck you're talking about, but there's some good things that are
trying to buy a new house, big garage, put the boat in, like just we'll see.
Yeah, I talked about you on my episode with Jordan of you because that was a show I believe you missed to go house hunting, and I was telling people if they had to see what you had to do with your boat, that it's very impressive how you snug that thing with like half an inch on each side through your fence.
Yes.
Yeah, I talked about that the other day.
Yeah, I have bass boat trailer. It's like 104 inches wide, the outside of wheel to outside of wheel. Well, my entrance to get the boat into my driveway is 106 and a half. Yeah, we get our tight squeeze straight back right to the garage almost every time. And I live on the busiest side street you could ever live on in your life. It's horrendous.
Yeah, if you would see, this road is one where Andy's like telling me you have to be this close away to the road if you're going to park at my house. And he goes, always put your window in this far. That way you don't get hit. And I'm like, dude, how do you back in your driveway in this place? But it's good that you're getting a new house, basically, is what we're trying to say.
Eventually, when we find one.
Yeah. Our guest is laughing down there below. We're going to get him on here in a second because I'm excited. He's one of my favorite humans on this planet.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a lot of fun to chat with him and catch up because it's been a while since we've had Mr. Keith Tuma on the show. But really
the
fast.
Host Keith.
Yeah, that's right.
Tuma.
Yeah, we've been out there without our fearless leader for a long time. We've been holding down the fort while our host has been fishing, out of touch, won't answer the phone. But two quick things before we get Keith on here, and that is that Omnia Fishing Dyeable Reels giveaway is still going on. That's till the end of this month. It's linked down below. You guys can go check that out. Enter, try to win some free Dyeable Reels. And then Andy, tell the folks what is coming up for tomorrow on the Lure Lab.
Oh, good question. So basically what I did was a winner's buyer guide for 3 baits that I want to purchase and try that I think are going to catch a lot of bass. And then actually I do believe for the following Saturday is going to be Mikey Balls. And we're figuring out what we're going to talk about. We're going to be recording that tomorrow. So, yeah.
That's going to be a good one because I'm curious because Mikey could be, oh my gosh, there's so many different things you could do with Mikey. That dude's a tackle tinker.
Yeah. We're going to do something Florida-based, I believe, and a technique down there. We haven't set it in stone yet. I actually have to give them a text tomorrow morning and finalize everything. But I do believe next week's episode will be Mikey Balls.
Heck
So
yeah.
that'll be a
Awesome.
good one.
Well, folks, if you've not checked out the Lure Lab show that's on the Serious Angler Network, that's linked down below. It's a 20-minute show every week about tackle modifications, about techniques, different baits that Andy runs over there, and is doing a hell of a job. But check it out. It's available wherever Serious Angler or Biss from the Bass Boat is available. So I encourage you to do so. But Andy, I think without further ado,
yeah, get him on here.
We bring on our good buddy, Mr. Keith Tuma. What's going on, man?
Hey, guys. Thank you for having me back to host the show once again.
That's right. Yeah. And there we go. Back. So take it away, Keith.
Well, I certainly appreciate y'all keeping me in the background while you're making smart-ass comments so that I use all my quick wit and everything I'm going to say. I mean, we could a dude's silence that just has a motor mouth.
We could just start off the show like this. At least Bailey didn't ghost you today.
Right.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was a backstage conversation. We can keep that to ourselves, or if y'all bring it up again, maybe we'll chat about how Bailey likes to leave guys hanging that drive to New York.
I figured we'd start off with a bang, all right?
One time, 2 separate days, bud. I was there for a week or 2 weeks. Sorry.
Oh yeah. I'm trying.
No, it's all good.
We were talking about it. Oh, it's fine. I can take it.
For having me back on. I'm not going to try and talk over you. So let's hit the ground running here.
So what do you want to talk about today, Keith?
Yeah, shoot, sky's the limit. I'm sick of the weather, so let's not talk about that. We got frozen lakes up here, so that's not much fun. Let's talk open water fishing, maybe 2023 stuff. Oh, here's the comment I was going to make. You're in the search for a new house.
Yeah.
What you need to look for is a shop that has a house on the property. That's the thing. You need a shop, like a big ass shop.
Like
and then there can be a house there too.
You're talking like a pole barn type of deal?
No, he's talking a business front. Like a business shop.
Just a decent little boat shop. Shop for your boat or tackle or whatever you're going to do. And, 60 by 100 or 60 by 80 would be a good start. Some entry level.
Just slap up a nice pole barn. That's all you need.
Absolutely.
I mean, dude, go the Carl Jacobson route. He literally lives in a pole barn. Like he added like a little house portion on the pole barn.
The Schauses, they're super popular up here by us.
I'm a huge fan of it. Like I went to Carl's one time and I saw his house and I'm like, that's what I want. I took a picture of it. I'm like, Carl, really weird question, but do you care if I take a picture of your house? And he's like, no, go ahead. I was like, so it's my fiance. I'm like, this is what I want.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're a single man or if you have a very understanding lady in your life, it's beneficial.
Yeah. This is also true. Yeah.
Pretty lucky on that front.
Excellent.
So,
sounds like you're getting a pole barn, Andy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, ideally, that's virtually what we're looking for is like a small, not a small house, but like a medium-sized house, like 1,800 square feet with like a 2 to 3 car garage that I can throw the boat in, or if there's no garage, a pole barn. But the issue with where I'm at in the north towns of Buffalo, the taxes are so high that if we basically push our budget line, we outprice ourselves basically just on budget. So we have to go south of Buffalo to find a house in our budget that the taxes are relatively good, but finding a property that's big enough to have a pole barn or a big garage is like almost impossible. So we'll figure it out.
You guys will figure it out. And there's heaps of time.
Yeah.
Well, it's
winter. Your boat's not going anywhere, right?
That's true. My boat is actually in a pole barn at the moment that's semi-heated. So about a mile down the road, I actually was in it yesterday. I was pretty excited. I was like, oh, I missed this thing.
I'm still in the stage where I'm sick of seeing my boat. I mean, it's only going to last for another week or two. After Christmas, then I'm going to be full bore on that thing again. But I go out there when I pull the skid steer out to go plow the driveway. I see the boat and it's like, oh yeah, you're still there. You're cute, pretty. All right.
See you in a couple more weeks. Love it.
When did you guys officially lock up?
Oh shoot! I think Gull Lake went right around Thanksgiving is when it finally capped, which is kind of normal or somewhat a little early. The latest I've seen it, I was running my other boat around on Gull. shoot, this was probably 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. But it was December 7th. I was running 102 mile an hour across Gull Lake.
No way.
100%. Yep.
100. Holy crap.
That's the Stroker. That's a different boat. It's still sitting in the shop too.
I'll race you in my Hobie.
Let's do it. You give me a head start. Give me a couple.
I thought my CX-19 was fast, going like 73, 74. Although I will say the fastest bass boat I've ever been in is an Allison XB2. Was it 2002?
2002. Yep.
I went 89 miles an hour upstream.
That's ripping.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, fast boats always.
And it had a 200 on it, not even a 250, a 200.
200.
Yeah, one of those old Mercury like mid 90s that were basically 250s with a 200 casing on it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Screaming.
No, hot rod boats are fun. I don't care what brand they are, as long as they go fast, it's fun.
And as long as you can hold on slightly.
Yeah, you know, you got to. Well, I tend to have the steering wheel in my hands when I'm in a hot rodish boat, so yeah. I feel a little bit better about it then. But I've ridden with some people. It's interesting.
So you enjoy some long runs then, to see you slam that pedal down.
Yeah, blast off is great. And running to wherever, like at Chesapeake Bay, that was a long run, and had a good time. I wish I had the Stroker there, but I didn't. I had the Skeeter. It was okay, but that thing was still running good. You know, 73, 74, right in there.
Scooting.
Mm-hmm.
So, dude, your adrenaline had to have been, I couldn't even imagine. You probably weren't even breathing or had a heart rate at the Classic, like when you launched then, because if you like launches, that one for you probably was.
That was pretty epic. I mean, but I went in, I was calm. You know, I didn't know what to expect. It was all the behind the scenes stuff that was going on that had me so distracted from the task at hand. And, you know, being green and being a rookie at it, it was just, there was so much to take in. And everybody with BASS and all of the sponsors and people working there, and heck, people there just in the media as well. Everybody was so nice and just so willing to talk and chat. And yeah, it was great. It was a phenomenal time.
I still remember seeing you at Media Day that week, and I see there's a bunch of guys rolling in, and then you're just like walking around like don't even know where you are. Like,
I was a lost puppy.
Yeah, you do. It was awesome though, because you probably had the biggest smile on your face out of everybody in that room. The people are like, "Oh, dang, it's Media Day," and here's Keith. Like, he's just like,
"What do you want to talk about next?"
I walked into the little breakfast meeting thing with Patrick Walters. I mean, heck, I was high on life, man. That was great.
That's awesome, man. Mm-hmm. I definitely foresee you getting back to that stage because the people loved you. That's for damn sure, especially on the Classic stage.
Sure.
But dude, like, let's start talking next year, because I know you mentioned that you might not be ready just yet to get the boat out, but it sounds like soon you might get that fever again. And
soon the itch is gonna hit me. Like I said, after Christmas, it's probably gonna set in. It's more of a, okay, this has to happen now, because I committed to all 9 opens for next year. Awesome. Along with 174 other people. So,
dude, yeah, I was impressed by that. I didn't think there was gonna be that many people.
I expected it to go big. I didn't expect it to go that big for the first year for this setup, but I'm super glad that it did. I mean, it just shows that I think BASS made the right call.
Yeah, I think to a lot of people's, it got a lot of backlash, but I think it was one of those things. Yeah. I mean, on social media, of course, it got backlash.
Yeah, keyboard heroes. Right. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're 100% correct. I'll back that up. I didn't think it was going to get that many people. And I don't know, originally that decision, like there was a lot of people saying that it cut some, you know, you're taking away your grassroots, which I still think that's wrong, because you have your local BASS like team trail stuff like you do. Right. You've almost made it to the Classic through the team trail.
We were close.
Yeah.
Definitely had a shot. And it wasn't easy to qualify,
right?
But you're a little bit more comfortable fishing all of your home waters, which is, I mean, and they still have the 3 divisions in the opens. I'm not trying to cut you off, but
you're good.
You know, if there's spots open, there's going to be local hammers that get in there and they're going to try and jackpot a division. Great. they still got a shot at the dang Classic, which is awesome. That's the point. I I really like the fact that they went to you have to commit to all 9 to try and make the elites. Great. And you still got a shot at the Classic. I don't know. I like the cutoff for pre-fish. I'm all on board. Yeah. And I think that was a little kick in the backside that I needed to take it a little bit more seriously.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get into that in a second because I'm curious more what you mean by that. But I literally like we did a show on this like as soon as it dropped with Deacon, myself, and Destin Marion, who's a former Elite Series pro.
Correct.
And one of the things we talked about, it's like it may seem unfair to an extent for that guy that, like you talk about, a guy that might not be able to get the time off to do all 9. But on the flip side, the person that's going to be ready for this, and you got to look at it from the bass side, the Bassmaster side of things, the person who's going to be ready to fish a 9 event schedule around the country, have the fees ready to pay the entry fees, and be ready to uphold that once they make the Elite Series from a business standpoint. It forces you to be prepared, which one is great because for people that aren't, you're not putting them in a further bad position.
Correct.
If they go and they flunk out and now they're like, they spent all their money and their life savings on the Opens and they aren't ready for it. But this further prepares them. And from a business standpoint, if I'm Bassmaster, that's less headache for us when that person qualifies and all of a sudden, all crap, 2 events in, they don't have any money left.
Correct.
It's less headache. So it's a smart business play, but it definitely creates a better level of anglers where it's consistent throughout. I think you'll see a big drop off after like 4 or 5 events.
You think?
I think there was people that if they have a bad stretch of 4 or 5 events and there's no way they're going to make it, I bet you I don't know. You probably don't get your money back.
You do not get your money back.
So maybe there won't be that
deposit. Once you commit, you throw it's common knowledge. It's $1,800 for a pro to fish. You do your $800 deposit on every single one. And then I think it's a month before the tournament, your remainder is due. But the deposit's non-refundable, which is great. Commit, damn it.
Commit. I love that.
There's more to it behind the scenes. Obviously, there's fuel and tackle and travel and places to stay and all that stuff. Maybe a little bite to eat if you have time. And,
if you have time.
But there's obviously a pile of expenses associated with fishing anything, whether it be the local stuff to travel in the country to try and compete. It's just a next level. Look at the elites. Shoot, the entry fee there is $5,000 a pop, and there's 9 tournaments.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a commitment.
It is,
and there's still that travel, and there's all this other stuff. Granted, there's sponsor assistance at that point as well. But there's sponsor assistance to some degree on the Opens level too.
Right. Yeah. And so what did you mean by this making you take it more serious? What was the meaning behind that?
Obviously, I went into all of the tournaments that I've fished. I think I've fished 6 Opens now over the last 2 years. I was Southern Division the first year, and then I got into the Northern Division the second year. I was planning on the Southern and the Northern for this 2022 season. But it filled up way too quick and I didn't get in, which fine. But I took all the tournaments as seriously as I could. I still feel like in the back of my head that only fishing 1 division or even 2 divisions is dabbling. That's still just kind of, getting your toes wet and checking the water and, seeing how things go and all that stuff. And I didn't expect to have phenomenal results. The James River was great. I'd never been there a day in my life and went down and did some practicing and found some stuff and it worked out. Pulled a 14th place out of that deal. Oneida a little different, Chesapeake Bay a little different, but whatever. It's fun. There's tough bodies of water. There's ones that fit my style and they don't seem as difficult. But so this coming year, 2023, to finally answer your question, as far as taking it a little bit more serious, I'm going to probably try and prepare myself mentally, physically, and emotionally to try and set myself up for success.
More 12-ounce girls?
What's that?
More 12-ounce curls?
Well, probably fewer, unfortunately.
So that's what you meant by the physical readiness.
Right.
He's cutting down to light 8-ounces.
I'm an old guy getting into this. I mean, there's older bass anglers out there. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to be 50 in February. So it's, I'm feeling it, I mean, you get a few days on the boat and the old body creaks and groans and, there's aches and pains and all that stuff. But all that can be, for the most part, overcome with your mental attitude and disposition and all that stuff. I mean, then sometimes that there's, ibuprofen, Aleve, stuff like that. But
every 3 hours alternating between the two.
Hey, guys got to do what a guy's got to do, right?
That's right.
But no, I mean, just the mental preparedness. I'm gonna try. I've busted my butt my whole adult life, if you will. Didn't know what for back then, but for a reason, to get myself in a position to where I can take some time off from work and pursue a dream. And this new format and being able to commit for all 9, that's my job for next year. I'm fishing 9 opens. That's it. Maybe if I'm home for a month and there's a little tournament around here, I might jump in just to keep myself lubed up or whatever. But yeah, or in the flow of things. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's how I'm pursuing it.
You're gonna make some Minnesotans pretty happy with you not doing the team trails next year.
Yeah, I know there's a few guys that are a little pleased, but that's gonna open up another spot too for the next potential hammer. Not calling myself a hammer, but I've had pretty good success with my partner Andy and other partners that I've fished with in the past, and just solo too. I've had some pretty decent success in Minnesota, and yeah, there's always room. There's always a bigger dog waiting to bark. So it's a progression. It's a natural progression, and some people find themselves in a fortunate situation to where they can advance their careers, and other people not so much, but it's okay because they're still doing what they love to do, just on a more local or statewide level.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. Are you taking the camping route? Are you staying at a hotel? What are you going to do?
I'm probably going to do a VRBO still. Okay. I dig the heck out of that. I've got space. I got a house, usually a nice driveway or sometimes a garage I can pull the boat into. I've thought about the camping thing, and there may be a couple times where I just pull up into a campground, pitch a tent, and hang out, depending on the weather. But for the most part, it's going to be VRBO.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like from a boater standpoint, that's the move. Is the VRBO for sure.
Like you get a kitchen, and I mean, not that I don't enjoy grilling out at a campground. I mean, that's
a comfortable bed.
Well, yeah, and power's guaranteed too. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like campgrounds can be a 50-50 sometimes, depending on the location.
Cell phone service is definitely iffy on some of them.
Agreed. we talked about that earlier.
Yeah,
New York, there's not much for reception.
Yeah, at least where you're staying. That's for that.
Right. I was in the boonies, man. It was great. Loved it.
Did you guys see that commercial? So we keep saying VRBO. Have you seen that? It's pronounced Verbo. I still say VRBO, but they literally went through the effort of putting out a commercial on national television of like, stop saying VRBO, it's Verbo, and then that was it. That was their whole commercial.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
America. That's all I gotta say about that is America.
What a place. What a place to live. Well, dude, I'm excited for you. I'm excited to keep up with it.
Thank you.
And you're probably pretty excited to go get that thing kicked off here.
I am. The first lake will be Eufaula in Alabama, on the border of Georgia and Alabama. So yeah, that'll be a fun one.
Say hello to my gator friends.
What's that?
Say hello to my gator friends.
If you send me the location where you were, I probably will.
I didn't catch anything in there, but sure, I'll send you. That's right to that gator's home.
I know you had pretty good results down there. Didn't you take a W on that event?
I did, but honestly, I don't know if I'd go back.
Right. No, I got a little bit of experience down there, and we're just going to go dob around and see what happens. But I think I have an idea or two.
Was it team championship?
That was the team championship last year. Yeah. And we didn't do overly well in the tournament, but day 2, the end of the day, we kind of put a little something together, and then spent the next, were we out there the next 2 days, maybe? The next day for sure. I can't remember. It was a year ago and a lot's happened in between. But did some driving around and some checking and poking, and it's like, dang it. Well, we could have done a lot better had we had more experience on that body of water.
I feel like that's always the case, especially like because that was fall time, right? The team it was fall.
It was winter, so first part of December. I think it was the 9th, 10th, 11th, or something like that. 10th, 11th, 12th, right in there.
I feel like us Northerners have a way easier time adjusting down there when it's like that, like post spawn to like summer patterns, whereas like the fall and winter down there are super weird.
Fall and winter are tough.
Down there anyway. Our fish are stupid up here in the fall.
They're like, we just got to eat.
That's it. They put the feed bag on. Those fish down there, they go, I don't know if they go nocturnal or what, but
it's something, but it's not eat.
Right. Swim around and just look at stuff. I'm like, I've seen those all summer, and I'm not biting that.
That place, though, I will say, like, I say I won't go back, but I also went on a week that was like super weird there in terms of like the whole lake turned to mud overnight.
Oh wow.
And that's why so many people struggled. That's why I think there was only 30 limits in the entire tournament out of 200 people. But like, dude, that place was like, it was weird, man. Like, it's one of those places where everything looks good. Like, you go up shallow and you're like, I'm gonna cast there and there and there, but there's nothing gonna be there. It's super specific, and that was super cool, but also super annoying at the same time.
I can 100% relate. Yep. It's like going down south of Florida and fishing. It's everything looks good, or going to Tennessee Valley lakes too. Everything looks good, but they're only on certain stuff, or the right fish are only on certain stuff. And I'm going to work on getting it dialed in.
Heck yeah. I mean, is there something on the schedule that stands out?
Maybe the Harris chain.
Oh shoot! Yeah, duh.
I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I haven't been there in October before, but
October, that is interesting.
Yeah, that will be a fun one. And the other one, Lake of the Ozarks in September, should be a good time. I don't have a ton of experience there, but I've played around a little bit on that lake. It's big.
I do like the open schedule.
Yes,
a little stretched out everywhere, every which way, but it's
could
cool.
be some travel.
Oh yeah.
Eufaula in Alabama, or not Alabama, in Oklahoma should be interesting too. I've never been there, but that is a ginormous body of water. Same with Toledo Bend, huge bodies of water. And then the couple of unknowns. What is it? Watts Bar, and then Bugs Island. Yeah,
Bugs Island has giants in it.
Okay.
Andy says that about every single lake that has one fish over 4 pounds. He goes, "There's giants in it."
No, I have a client, a bass client that actually fishes Bugs Island, and he's like, "There's giant bass in there."
Nice.
Not a ton of bass, but there's giants.
Okay, so there's 5 big ones running around.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can catch those 3 days in a row, you win.
Yeah. I think he said something along the lines, Smith Mountain gets all the notoriety in Virginia, but Bugs Island is better.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, it's been a long time since BAS has been there, so
I don't even know that. I don't even know of that. Like, is it big?
I don't know. I looked at it on Google Earth. I can't remember how many acres it is, but it looked pretty decent.
I'm so bad at relating bodies of water in terms of acres. Like, you'll tell me a number and I don't know what you mean. Like,
well, you've been to Mille Lacs, haven't you?
Yeah, I was on ice though.
That's fine. That's 100 and oh shoot, I'm going to get this wrong and people are going to be freaking out at me. I should know. It's over 150,000 acres. And it might even be 160 something. And Hartwell is 52,000 acres, but Hartwell is 3 times as big as Mille Lacs because Mille Lacs is round and Hartwell has all the rivers and main body and creek arms and all that fun stuff. So I mean, it's so hard to compare apples to apples when you see or hear. Well, look at Oneida. That's what 58,000 acres or something like that.
Is it really? Let's see.
Yeah.
Mille Lacs is 132,000.
Okay, 132. All right.
Let's see. What is Oneida? Oneida is Yeah,
Give me
65,000.
65. Okay. Yeah, it's bigger than I thought, but it's still not that big, but it's huge, you know?
That makes more sense then. Okay.
Yeah.
I just like I always see like people talking about that lake's like only something acres, and I'm saying I don't know what that means.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like it's right over my head, like
right.
big or small.
I fish a lot of sub 500 acre lakes out here, and I mean they're dinky. You can cover them in a day easy.
That's
but
awesome.
It's fun, you know. It's like, okay, well, here's where the fish are. You go back and hammer on them after you fish everything else, or whatever else you want to do. But yeah,
if you can't find them in that small body of water, you better just leave.
There's lakes like that though, where they're just. It's almost like they're swimming behind the boat, you know.
Yeah.
Quickly searching it, Bugs Island, Kerr Lake is almost 78 miles long. It doesn't tell me the acreage without me like diving too far, but
sure,
it's pretty big lake.
Yeah, 78 miles long. That's some running.
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
So Kerr Lake, I just looked it up. Yeah. It is smaller than Oneida in terms of mileage,
acreage, or mileage.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't give you the acreage on that one. But in terms of square miles, it is 2 square miles less than Oneida.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Because what's Oneida, like 22 miles long or something like that?
Yeah, something around that.
And it's 5 miles wide at its widest.
I believe so. I believe that's fairly accurate. Yeah, I mean, and Oneida seems relatively big, but when you're on there, it's a 200 boat field.
It fished really small, yet it could have fished. Yeah, no, it was good. That's one I wish I had. I was stubborn. We'll leave it at that. We don't have to go into how Keith gets stubborn. That'll be an advantage for everybody I'm competing against.
174 people.
I'm a bit stubborn. It's like, nope, you little bastards, you're gonna bite this. We don't want that. We've showed you that for 15 minutes. We don't want that. Okay, well, here, try this. Oh, hooked. Too late in the day. Anyway,
good day too. Yeah. Oh man, it's gonna be cool though, because I think what they did with this restructure of format is I think they did a great job of making a schedule that was diverse.
Agreed.
From fisheries, but also just from time of year doing completely different things.
Yes.
They're really preparing people to make like the Elite Series, the Elite Series.
They want some guys that are very well versed getting into the elites this year. Or for next year, sorry. Or 24, or whatever the hell I'm trying to say.
Whenever you get there. Whenever you get there.
Yeah, no, and I'm not taking anything away from the guys that did qualify through one division, or the ones that qualified through the all 9. Those guys are absolute hammers. You know, the opens they're tough. You know, there's really, really, really good fishermen out there. So to be able to qualify through the opens to the elites, I mean, you did something. That's an accomplishment, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, with that format going forward, you're going to earn it. That's for damn sure. There's definitely been some people that, I mean, the statement is accurate of to a minute stance of there are some people that kind of not quote unquote got lucky, but there's some people that fared well with one division because it's home lakes or regional lakes and made it and had a very, very hard time and only lasted their 2 rookie years that they're given. So I mean, this one I think will. If I'm on the elites right now and I'm a guy that is in Angler of the Year standings of like 50, 55 and lower, I would be scared to see what's going to be churned up with these opens. It's going to be pretty interesting. I'm excited to see it though, as a fan.
Yeah. Absolutely. Competition drives interest, and competition makes us better, pushes us to be better anyway, or at least it should. And I mean, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And the sport is going to benefit a lot from this new format, I believe.
Did you see the update to NPFL?
I did not. So
they went to $100,000 payout.
Okay.
I believe entry fee is $5,200.
Okay.
Yeah.
The championship is no entry fee. I'm trying to remember what else am I missing, Andy? Was there something else to it? Basically, there's a whole buzz going around though about a bunch of people are impressed with this new move from NPFL.
Nice.
But it's gonna, I think, for the guys that can't do all 9 opens, it gives them a good avenue to go out and compete on the trail.
Sure.
It's only, I think, 5 events.
I was gonna say, I think it's only 4 or 5 events though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe includes the championship.
I think isn't it 6?
Or 6?
6 in a championship.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a full like 9 event type of deal. It's definitely more like
a bunch, though. It's a big commitment.
Yeah.
Look at the entry fee.
They do like 1 a month.
Okay.
Usually from like, was it, I think like February or March through like October.
Right on.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch each trail try to do either something different or try to improve on what they're already doing year after year.
Right.
Because it's always this time of year where there's always this buzz of leagues and what's going on. Like, did you hear what Bass did here? Did you hear what MLF did here? Like, hey, did you hear about this new league called the NPFL 2 years ago? Like, it's
somebody's trying to mix everything up, or people are trying to mix things up and keep everybody else relevant. And yeah, I mean, in order to stay in that relevance, I guess you need to adapt and change and cater, I guess, a little bit. Or put it out there and make it, okay, here's what we're doing. I just carried these things in a wheelbarrow, slap them down on the table, and this is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
I'll want to play. Come on.
So, I mean, for you guys, though, it's like, it's not really you're fishing the opens now. Like, it's you're fishing the EQs. Is what they call it. Yeah. Sounds way more badass than they say elite qualifiers.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah. But, I mean, so it's what? So it's 175 people signed up, but what does it cap at the field? Like how many?
225. I think. Yeah, I don't think that they bumped it up to 250 or anything. I think it's still at the 225. So I mean, there's still 50 spots for guys that are going to fish one division if they could get in, which doesn't seem like a lot, and it probably isn't, but it is. I think full field, as per their rules, was 150, and then they open it up another 50%. To the overflow, which is where they put it at 225.
Okay.
I think that's how it works.
Just giving people that want a jackpot to make the classic a chance type of deal.
Sure.
Still keep it the opens.
Yeah, go for it. Get it.
I mean, I'm sure people would still do it. I mean, just because it's the classic, man. I mean, who doesn't 100%. Want to fish in that?
It like I said, I would do every classic from here on out if I could make it with the exact same results as the first one I fished. I mean, eventually it'd get, come on, I'm better than this. But, in the same sense, it's like, it's so exhilarating being there. Shoot, the fans. They made it so much more. And there's people coming up to me and, I'm just an old dude from Minnesota likes to fish. And they're like, holy crap, you did so good, blah, 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 blah. It's like, I'm dead last, but you made it. It keeps you a little bit grounded. And it was phenomenal.
That's awesome, dude.
Heck of an experience. Can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, what's cool too with having 175 guys that are doing all 9 is you're going to be able to start establishing personalities, characters, and kind of almost relative drama to a sense where like not drama as in like people going at each other, which I'm sure we'll have behind the scenes, but more like drama of like people shaking up in the standings. Whereas like with the 3 different divisions, it was harder-ish to keep up with because there'd be different guys in the hunt for this division, completely different names for another division. And then you're also trying to focus on the
grand scheme, the line.
Yeah. Whereas this one will be way more streamlined in terms of what's going on throughout the year, help people make better names for themselves.
It should simplify things and give a lot more coverage for the guys that are going to rise to the top, I guess, if you will. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to give people more of a platform. Whereas, like, when you guys go to different locations, I think that'll help the weigh-ins turn out too.
Probably, and there's always a decent crowd at all the weigh-ins I've been to. All 6 of them. There's decent crowds at all of them, and the people they're nice and they're there to cheer on their favorites and their brother or son or cousin or uncle, whoever's fishing, they're there to support them, which is great. But everybody that's been, I guess that's just fans in general, bass fans in general, I can say, they're just happy to be there and they just want to see big fish come across the stage, or they want a guy to tell funny stories that doesn't bring any fish across the stage, which I got that nailed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you calling yourself out?
Yeah, well, it's entertainment value, you know what? And at the end of the day, sometimes it doesn't always work out, and you just got to try and maintain that positive mentality and go with it. It's like, hey, there's another day. You know, you never know what could happen. Could land on a dirty 30, or you could zero again. It doesn't matter.
I know. I like that though, and I think it's a good thing, especially if I were looking at like the future of a sport, I'd rather have a guy who doesn't catch them, but can capture the crowd and bring more people into the sport, because I can't remember who originally started this conversation, so I can't take credit for it, but there is when you're looking at the grand scheme of professional bass fishing, amongst all the trails, if you look ahead in 10 years, all of the personalities and characters and brands that have been created in the fishing industry, they're probably all going to be retired, and they're going to be out of the game. Only people that are young right now that are still have like that personality that people talk to, like a Gerald Swindle, like a Kevin, like an Ike. I mean, like we have Polnick, you have Matt Robertson, and that's about the only people I can think of beyond like maybe a Wheeler or a Connell right now. Like you don't really see these personalities anymore. A lot of these guys are kind of doing a great job in terms of the business side and the fishing. But they're all like the same. Like they all post the same type of stuff. They all say the exact same damn thing on stage.
Okay.
And you know, like where there's a people like a Matt that's completely stands out. That gives people, like, if you go out, like, I'm not trying to say anybody is doing any wrong here, because everyone's their own angler, their own human.
Correct.
But like, if you go to, like, say you take a few anglers from the elites, and they're gonna have a good fan following and such. But if you say, hey, we're going to have a Matt Robertson lookalike at the Classic, there's going to be a freaking long ass line of people doing that because it's Matt. Because he's that personality, where I think the sport needs that.
Well, let's not sell Lee Livesey short. I mean, he's about the only guy that'll crack a beer up on stage if they'd let him, you know?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I know there's definitely more there, but
yeah,
I'm just saying, like, this, if you look ahead, the sport needs more. Like, you need some more personalities out there.
I mean, how much momentum did Ike get from the Never Give Up thing? Which is phenomenal. I can still remember that Classic. It was fun to watch. It was insane. And, you know, but you're right. There was a ton of personalities back then, individual personalities, and each and every one were different based on, you know, just their character.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think maybe guys get a little stressed out because there is a lot going on. There's a lot behind the scenes to managing social media, to, you know, practicing, to having your equipment right. Travel time, and then there's stuff that none of us know about that goes on at home. You know, it's really difficult to kind of put all that aside and stand out, if you will, and still perform.
Yeah. Well, and I want to go back on what I was saying here and preface that there are a lot of personalities and characters that are on the trails. There's definitely people that are like freaking goofballs that have great personalities, but you don't see it on the social side. And this is just, I'm talking about, like, it takes a lot for somebody to try to put that out on like a public display. Okay. And so like, there's definitely a lot of people that I've spoken with that are like, if they were comfortable showing that side of their goofy side, I think they would see the business side of the sport of like what they do benefit from.
I get what you're saying.
But I mean, I've seen some people try to do stuff like Pat Schlapper with his karate crap that he does on stage. I've seen him try to do that. And it's great. Like, that's stuff I would love to see, just being a fan of the sport. Like a Matty Wong, I think it's sports in good hands.
I was going to mention Matty.
Yeah. I mean, character. The more we think about it, there's definitely more there. It's just, it's cool to watch different personalities prosper. And there's a lot of personalities behind the scenes. I just think there's some people that are more or less not comfortable showing that on the public.
How much does that boil down to the amount of airtime that these people are actually getting? You know, I mean, when the camera's on you, you got no choice to either, you know, crash and burn or to let your wild side show, you know. And a lot of times the wild side shows. You'd forget that the camera's there on you, and You just go and have fun, and you're doing your thing, and you're in your element, you know. And that's when the I guess the star is born, if you will.
I think that right there is why everyone loves Seth Feider, where if you left it to a social media, no one really know exactly who Seth Feider is.
Right.
But because of live TV or the Bassmaster Live, people know who Seth is.
Absolutely.
I mean, same with Taku Ito. You can say the same with Taku. If he wasn't in the top 10 all the damn time, people wouldn't really know who Taku is. Like, he's a goof that loves to fish. Like,
yeah.
He's another personality too. You could say him.
Absolutely. I mean, like, I guess I'm not trying to contradict myself. There are a ton of different personalities out there. It's just the amount of time that they've been offered to be able to show their personalities.
Yeah. I think people being willing to go against the grain a little bit. I think that's honestly what the sport needs, because I mean, there's the cliche of the fishing industry is 10 years behind every other industry, which is true.
Sure.
I can vouch for that. And I am okay. This is hilarious because I work in the fishing industry. I am the most impatient person because when I want to do something, I want to get it done. I want to get it done now. Whereas the fish, it's so slow trying to get something done in this industry. It drives me crazy. Where I think if whether it's anglers and their brands or the companies, what people start being a little bit more creative and out of the box, I think someone's going to take off. I mean, the last time we saw somebody do something against the grain was the Guggen Squad, and love them or hate them, but they boomed because they went against the grain.
Yep.
We're going way on tangents here, but I love it.
You said we had no set plan or thing we're going to talk about, so
no, we didn't.
Virtually what you're saying here, right? And the way to break it down is fishing needs more Happy Gilmores and Guggen Squads, but not essentially in that terminology.
Not Guggen Squads.
Just people that go against the grain, right? Like just kind of on that side of things.
I think the more unique personalities against, I'm not saying this is the whole demographic of fishing, but what people from the outside, I mean, not to bring this up again, but just to give an example, like the people who don't know about fishing, the way they look at fishing now is they look at it as a freaking cheating scandal that they see on outlets that never have covered fishing in their entire stance, but because of one cheating scandal, they cover it, and that's all people think of fishing.
Well, whereas one that got a butt ton of press anyway.
That's what I'm saying. It is like there's like all these places in LA and these like celebrity outlets that cover cheating scandal and fishing. That's the only thing they ever talk about in fishing, where it's horrible. Look for us anglers.
Bunch of negative press.
Yeah, where if we get more unique anglers, more unique personalities that contradict this stigma of the Southern redneck that is a bass fisherman, I think the more people will get included into the sport because you have different backgrounds, more people, different groups can relate to them. And I think as a whole, that helps our sport. Agreed. I mean, I love the fact that we're adding more country flags to the Classic every year. Like that is awesome to me. Yep. I mean, I love watching the different things that come over, like Jacopo, I think that's how you say his name.
Yep.
From Italy. Like, dude, man, that dude's a freaking hammer. But more people like him, I think that's just better for the sport long term, just because it's more groups were getting interested in bass fishing.
Yeah.
No, that was my my short point drawn out long.
Your short form of a long story.
Yeah.
I think that's just you asserting your hostness in this little cast tonight. So
if you get me going on something, I'm like really firm believer about, I don't shut up. So I apologize.
No, it's all good. I like to hear it. I'm sure Andy gets to hear it all the time, but he's kind of forced to listen right now. And anybody watching this, they're gonna love it too.
See, Andy's been when this is my slow season, these couple months where I don't travel at all. So Andy and I don't talk on the phone as much. Whereas when I'm traveling, Andy and I are on the phone for hours typically. And this is when I go on my rants. Where Andy could put his phone down and walk away for an hour, and I'd probably still be going.
The funny thing is, Keith, right? Like me and Bailey literally live 7 minutes apart right now.
Okay.
And I think I've seen him like 4 times in the past 8 months.
Oh, wow. You guys are taking that social distancing to a new extreme here. I mean, have the guy over for a beer and a steak or something.
We have such crazy schedules though, because it's either I'm like working here, which obviously I can give up time to go see him, but like either Andy's guiding or he's taking Emmy somewhere or he's door dashing, or he's just doing. He's like, oh, I'm in Rochester now. Where it's like
you a door dasher?
I do it on the side when I don't have guide trips just to supplement income. It's not
Okay.
bad. It's easy money.
Sure.
Like,
supports your habit, right?
yeah, I mean, I can go out for 2 hours and make $50, whatever.
Nice.
It's not bad. It just, I got to get through. I got to pay off this dang boat somehow. So
I can't wait for the day when someone in Buffalo listens or follows Serious Angler and they order a DoorDash and you show up to their house.
And he shows up. That'd be great.
hilarious.
That would be awesome.
Since you're here, I'd like to book a guide trip.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, okay.
Do you hand out business cards with their food?
I should, but I'm actually terrified of that because I don't want people like following me on social media and then messaging me there like my food was cold or something like that. So I don't want to deal with that.
Was there a bite taken out of my pizza?
Yeah, but I got hungry. Sorry.
Right. It was a long drive. I got stuck in traffic.
Yeah, I just picture Andy with his boat in tow, just doing DoorDash.
That would be bad.
That would be hilarious.
Yep. Truck and boat
awesome.
shows up. Mer, mer. Come on out. Yeah, it's in the live well.
Yeah.
Fresh,
Yeah.
catch to
There you
door.
go.
Fresh catch. Perfect.
That's awesome. So, are you traveling with anybody this year, Keith?
Not that I'm aware of right now. I did have one of my co-anglers from last year reach out, and he said that, you know, maybe get together and split a room or something when we're doing his division. But yeah, other than that, I haven't talked to anybody about it. So it's going to be solo again, which is fine. I like my own space for the most part, and I'm not overly difficult to get along with, but I'm weird.
Aren't we
We're
all?
weird.
All fishermen are weird. Like
100%. In our own little ways, yes, 100%.
Andy's gonna not this Andy, but your tournament partner Andy's probably gonna miss you this year. If you take the breakup hard.
Well, it's not really a breakup because I mean, if I'm around and there's an opening, we'll probably jump in on something if we've got time. And I love fishing with him. He's a great guy, and you know, I've learned a lot from him, and he's pushed me to kind of pursue what I'm doing. He's been, you know, one of my biggest supporters, and I can't wait for him to have the opportunity to step up and follow this dream as well. But yeah, I mean, it sucks when, you know, I announced that I've got to take this a little bit different. You know, thought process has to be a little bit different with this, and I don't want the distraction of tournaments back home, and because it takes away from it. I was on Oneida. If I could have jumped in my truck after day 2 and driven back here and fished an MNB in on whitefish chain, but he had been practicing with another fella, and the guy was a sub for me, and it worked out really well. I think they got third place, third place. But it worked out great. But I would have had zero practice time and all that stuff, but it would have been fun. But no, so I mean, I had that on my mind in New York as well. So I think it took a little bit away from the task at hand, and that's where my little altering of thought process is going to come into play. Is I'm not going to have the distraction of obligations back home as far as tournaments go. I mean, obviously my daughter's still going to be here, and family and house and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm not going to have tournaments that I'm obligated to that I need to keep in my head, if you will. So
Yeah.
It'll be fish a lot freer and fish a lot looser, hopefully, and you know, be more apt to make the right calls. Maybe
one derb at a time.
That's it. That is it.
That'd be cool. But it's gonna be fun to keep up with you because I obviously we're rooting for you.
Thank you.
Did you bring on any new companies or anything like that to the?
No. I'm gonna work with the existing ones. I know that you mentioned in some of our text conversations another one, and I'm seriously considering that. But for right now, I'm going to stick with the companies that I'm working with. They've been fantastic. And I like to keep it close and tight knit, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
I don't want to spread myself too thin with other, sponsor obligations and things along those lines. Yeah, so sticking with what I got.
Not going full bore pro just yet.
Not yet. No.
Not yet.
Nope. I need to do a lot better, and then I'll talk. Because then it's going to be like, hey, I need some help. So
then you're going to make your own podcast.
No, I could never do that.
Tuma time.
It would be fun, but I'd have to have one of you guys on to host it.
What you talk about? You're the host.
Right?
Yeah.
We just got establishing through your rant how you were, asserting your hostiness.
My hostiness.
Yeah, that's a new word now.
Love it.
That's going to be the title of the show. It's just going to be straight up Tuma time.
Tuma time and Bailey demanding hostiness.
Demanding. All right, here. I'll make you.
Oh, here we go.
He's always doing stuff, right? Like,
right? Hey, that's a good shot.
He takes himself off. I don't know.
I was like, best of luck, and I cut myself out.
Oh, funny.
Good grief. Well, dude,
all right, what else we guys got?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. So beyond the opens for next year, I mean, I know you said that that's like going to be your job is the 9 opens next year. Anything else like exciting, big plans? Are you go into Classic or Red Crest, iCast, anything like that? Where people can
I'm gonna try and make iCast. I don't think it lands near a tournament or on a tournament. So yeah, I'm gonna do iCast. I would like to do iCast. I was sad that I missed it this past year or 2022, but I had other obligations here with work and whatnot. So no, I'm putting the company on hold for next year too. So it's going to be really cool. It's like zero stress outside of the fishing and the travel and all that stuff.
That's got to be a really freeing feeling.
Yeah. I told you I'm taking a different approach, bud.
I love it.
It's shut everything else off. I mean, obviously keep in touch with my family, my friends, girlfriend, daughter. And, but
it really is Tuma time.
It's going to be fishing. Yeah. If I want to try and have a career at this or at least set myself up for having a somewhat successful podcast, I need to take it serious.
I love it. We're putting the crumbs down, Andy. There's eventually going to be a Tuma time podcast.
Yes, I love it. All these shows I've done with you, it's like rope-a-dope. I get addicted to talking with you guys, and it's really fun.
That's what I'm saying. We're gonna make you start one. Well, we're just gonna have a whole segment on this dang network. It's just gonna be Tuma time. Let's get Keith's thoughts. We're gonna stick a mic in your truck for when you're on the road, and it's just Keith's thoughts.
That will mess some people up. I mean, there's going to be so many comments. Oh, this dude needs serious psychological help.
Well, if you're gonna do all 9 opens, fish professionally, drive as many miles as you guys do, you probably got to be a little crazy.
You get a lot of windshield time, and the thoughts run rampant at times. It's exciting.
Go ahead, Andy.
I was going to ask you, what is the wildest thing that you saw on the road last year traveling just to the opens?
Oh.
I can't. It's not the opens. I mean, the opens I saw some stuff, but the absolute wildest thing, and I swear I told you guys this story. It was after the Classic. We were coming home. And my buddy Jim, he got me into bass fishing up here, had the tackle store, and he drove down by himself to come support me at the Classic. Well, he's following, and we're in Kentucky, and it was decent weather, but it's starting to get to be evening. Driving along, and my daughter and my girlfriend are kind of not really paying attention. They're dozing off or talking amongst themselves, whatever's going on. And I see this object in the center, the median. And as I get closer, I can tell it's a big animal. It's dead. And as I go by it, it's like, holy crap, that was a donkey. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I said, you guys see the donkey in the middle of the median right there? And they're like, what? We didn't see any donkey. Are you okay, Dad? Maybe you need to pull over and let Rainey drive. And I was like, no, I'm fine. And I got that word out. I'm fine. You guys missed it. And they're like, oh, you're probably really tired. My buddy Jim calls. He's like, dude, did you see that effing donkey in the freaking ditch? too. So yeah, there was a dead donkey. I don't know how it got there. And obviously, it either fell out of a trailer or tried crossing the road and did not make to the other side. So yeah, that was absolute craziness. Other than that, all of my trips, thank goodness, have been fairly uneventful. I've obviously hit some critters and they splatter all over the truck and the boat, but it's just, it happens. Oh yeah.
that was not a bug.
No, raccoons are bigger than bugs. But yeah, they like to run out in the roads. But yeah, it's been a lot of the trips have been fairly uneventful, which is phenomenal.
It's good.
I've heard stories about other guys traveling and they run into some pretty sketchy scenarios, and yeah, I don't know.
It's talking about splattering things. I hit my first deer this year.
No kidding.
That's
always exciting.
Heart rate was at an all-time high, but I got so freaking lucky. If I was going 10 miles an hour over, it probably would have been a different story. But I was turning and clipped a doe on the very right front corner of my brand new truck.
Oh no!
And I get out and I look, and there's nothing. It was spotless. I got so lucky. Just hit her butt.
Wow,
and that was it. She kept going. No dent. No nothing.
That is usually not the case.
No, I counted my blessings and I just kept rolling on. And I was like, that was close. That could have been really bad because it would have been my luck, new truck and first time I ever hit a deer.
Oh,
but yeah, I got really lucky.
That was only like a couple weeks after you bought the truck too, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was literally like within a month.
Wow.
Yeah, it would have been just my luck, right? Like, just get this my first car I buy, like first truck,
and then that happens.
Yeah, not this beaten up Ultima with a fender hanging off of it and a kayak on top. Not
and
that.
A battery.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You guys deer hunt at all or no?
He does.
Oh yeah.
He does. I don't.
He does, or he does.
I just fish.
Yes.
All year.
Oh yeah.
How was deer season?
So I've been a hunter my whole life, mostly bow. But I obviously will dabble a little bit with gun season, even though our gun season in New York sucks.
Okay.
There's just so many people.
The
past 2 years I haven't been able to hunt because we moved. This is more my excuse because I can't half-ass deer season. Like if I'm going to be in it, I need to be all in, starting in July type of deal before season starts. And lost our private land, so I was resorting to state land, which I was okay with the state land with bow season because there's like maybe 3 people in all of New York that bow hunt state land. But I just didn't have the time to put into it because we got an apartment here, the fiance. But my brother coughed me into buying a license just in time for Thanksgiving to go out once or twice with him.
Okay.
And had one in the scope.
Yeah.
But go figure, wins me as soon as I literally take safety off.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, it was one of those ones where it's like, damn. But I mean, when we were walking back, it was 1.5 miles uphill right after that snowstorm we got where there was like 7 feet.
Sure.
We were up to our mid thigh in snow going uphill over 1 mile. So I was pretty glad I didn't shoot that one because that would have really sucked.
It reminds me of when I used to go to school when I was a kid.
Okay. Tuma's got big old thighs.
No, it was uphill both ways through snow and a blizzard and all that. You know the stories.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's fun, but still, it's kind of if you like to eat venison, it's a little hard on the freezer and on the food. But
it's very nice. My whole family left for Florida. They all live down there except for my brother and I. We're the only ones left up here.
Okay.
He shot a few, so we got some venison for the winter. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I did not shoot a deer. I saw a pile of them. Now, my daughter, on the other hand, she had a phenomenal year.
Is she?
Yeah, she got a really nice doe opening morning, and then the following weekend, she doubled up. She got a decent spike buck, and then another big doe on the same set the second weekend.
That's awesome. Like back to back, like in the same
within 2 hours.
Man.
We talked her into letting the buck lay, and she's like, "Dad, there's nothing going to come out." And I said, "No, just be patient. You might see one." And she goes, well, if a deer comes out, can I shoot it? I said, if it's a big doe or if it's a nicer buck than the spike, yeah, absolutely, take it. And big doe stepped out, was sniffing the buck. She texted me, can I? I said, go for it. 30 seconds later, boom, I got it.
She's by herself?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a proud dad moment.
Oh, you have no idea.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it was great. Her first one opening morning was a little revenge. And I'm not bragging about my daughter, but I'm going to brag about my daughter.
You should.
The kid is a phenomenal shot. And at 100 yards on paper, she doesn't really like that off of rest, when we're sighting the guns in and practicing. And Dad, I build her bullets, I guess. I do hand loading and all that stuff. So I try and get her gun dialed into where she's comfortable. She's going to make a good hit and all that fun stuff. And it's not a ton of recoil for her. She shoots a 308.
Yeah.
But anyway, at 100 yards, she's meh. At 200, we've got dingers set up, 10-inch metal reactive targets, if you will. She hits those dang things all the time. So 2 years ago, she missed a deer at like 210, 215 yards, which great, clean miss. I would rather have it be that way than have her wound one. This year, that first doe stepped out, it was like 208 to 210 yards right in there. One shot. Lunged it. No, it didn't drop. It ran probably 100 yards, but it was so easy to track.
That's awesome.
Yep, and there it was piled up. She's like, Dad, I think I missed. I was like, no, you might want to come out here and check where I'm standing. You definitely hit it.
Yeah.
It was cool.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was great. So super proud of her. She had her, she got a triple, this deer season, which is fantastic.
That
fill the freezer.
Oh my goodness, and how? Yeah.
There's nothing better than opening up the freezer, like barely being able to shut it, and it's just packed full of venison, snack sticks, sausages. Right. Oh my gosh!
Now, do you process your own deer?
I do and I don't. I help out one friend of mine, my buddy Jim, that confirmed the donkey for me. He bow hunts, and so I go over and help him build sausages every once in a while, and we do that. So my other friend that I hunt with, it's actually his family. His brother does the majority of the cutting of the deer, and we just do steaks. And if we get enough, we'll do like breakfast sausage and stuff like that. And we go back up for that and help out. But so yeah, we keep it self-processed, if you will. Somebody in the party does it. So yeah, no, it's a great time. It really, really is.
We used to always do it ourselves. Back when we had our original house that I lived in, we had a barn and everything to do it. And then my parents' new house there for 2 years before they moved last spring. We couldn't do it because they didn't have like a place to do it unless we were going to do it out in the middle of open. And my dad didn't want to offend anybody, even though I said we should just do it and screw people. Sure. But in the apartment, I don't know if it'd be a great idea to do it here in the apartment complex. Although I would do it if I wasn't going to get in trouble. Yeah. Oh, man.
Try it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, it's true. You never know these days, man. It's a changing world. That's for dang sure. But I miss it, dude. I really do. And I miss talking about hunting, like just doing this. I've been circling ideas with Andy and Deacon on our network, talking about new shows we want to do. And
you're going to do a hunting podcast?
Like, no, not hunting, because it's not like.
We'll start off with squirrels.
It's not like my forte. You know what I mean? Like, where like I am obsessed with fishing. Like my brother is, for me to fishing is my brother to hunting. He's huge hunter. I can never do a hunting podcast justice. I'm more interested in doing like a general outdoorsy, let's BS over some beers and talk hunting stories type of deal. Hunting stories, fishing stories, travel, whatever. Sure. I've been dying to do something like that.
And that makes for an interesting podcast. Just throwing it out there. Like there's no set structure type of thing. Just boom, tangent away. Have fun.
That's what I'm saying. And I got some ideas for it. Just need to find the time to do it. But
we'll just make Keith the host of that one.
There you go.
As well.
Yeah.
My resume will be chock full after I'm done with you guys.
We're putting you to work.
Oh man, I need to talk vacation time here real quick.
Yeah, pay time off.
It's Tuma time in the general outdoors.
All right,
there you go.
We can do it. I can fake it.
Fake it till you make it.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I got so used to it though. Like that first year taking off of hunting, and I was kind of like somber a little bit, but it was kind of nice to fish for a fall and not worry
Yeah.
about the hunting. But I got too used to that, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fish for another fall until my brother made me just go out one time, and I felt bad because we had skipped the thing. We always had the tradition of hunting on Thanksgiving or a day before Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
and we had skipped it that one year. But I was like, fine, like I'll buy it for the one day, and I go out the one day, and it's art. The fever's back. Like I'm just like ordered trail cams, like I ordered all new stuff, like
Yeah.
getting ready to go back in hard for bow season next year.
That's fantastic.
The last
The guy
time,
needs a good mix, you know?
yeah,
Just a good break.
Yeah, 100%. A little recharge from the task at hand or the thing that you were burying yourselves with all season. Yeah.
yeah. Honestly, it was super nice because like this past year between going hard on the podcast, full-time job, fishing a crap ton of tournaments,
Yep.
like all this stuff, it was super nice to do something completely different.
Absolutely.
It felt refreshing.
Yes.
Dude, you'll never. So here's a hunting story, and then we'll wrap this thing up here.
All right.
I don't think I'll ever.
all night.
Yeah. Yeah, we could probably do this for freaking hours if we wanted to. But
I think we could probably find things to talk about, but go for it. And then we'll circle back to some fishing and we'll close it out with that.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry to folks. We're talking hunting. Hope you guys enjoy it. Never. I don't think
I'm not a hunter at all, so I'm just sitting here listening.
Andy, you're doing great. Just smile and nod, bro. You got this.
You got it.
Just throw in a steelhead story. You're good.
Ooh.
Steelhead's fun.
I don't think I'll ever top this day, actually.
Okay.
So my brother and I decide at 9:30 at night of the day before that we were going to go out the next morning because we saw it, the weather changed. There's going to be a pressure drop. So like it's just as mid-October getting towards that special time of year. So we're like, every pressure drop, we're going to hunt them. Like, it's just, that was kind of like our system.
Sure.
And we go out and it's super last minute. So we're not prepared at all. Like we had to turn around when we got out of the driveway to come get some stuff because of, like, again, we just decided super late. So we got to our property, start getting in. We're kind of like somewhat rushing our walk in to our different stands because it's like sun's almost coming up. Like you start seeing it come over the valley a little bit, and we're about halfway in. It's about like almost a mile walk, and basically it is this deep ridge line where it's basically the same thing on each side, where it's just there's thick timber and then open like 50 yards of open woods and then a deep ridge. And so we sit on each side of each other. So we're like 80 yards from each other. So we can see each other and everything.
Sure.
We're about halfway in. My brother's like, I forgot my phone. And I was like, oh, shoot. Like, well, whatever. Are you going to go grab it? And he's like, yeah, I'll go grab it. I'll catch up. And I was like, I'm on the far side of the ridge. So I kept going. I get to my stand. I climb up. And this is like, if you're a hunter, you'd geek out at the spot I found. It's 2 pine trees in the middle of open woods with one big oak in the middle of them. So I went and carved out a hole about 30 yards up, and that was where my stand was. Perfect. Could never get seen.
Okay. And
I get set, and it's finally shooting time, and I'm about to text my fiance good morning. And I get a text from my brother that says, I made it to my set of hardwoods. I see legs coming down by you. I don't know if I can't see the head.
Okay.
And as he says that, I'm reading his text. I look up and all I see is rack. I'm like, he's on. Like, so it comes up. It was a little over 130 inches. I can't remember exactly how big it was, but for New York, that's a good deer.
Yeah. For here, that's a good deer.
Yeah. And drop it, goes 20 yards, maybe heart shot.
Beautiful.
And I go and I texted him and I was like, shot it, like, nice buck. I don't know if it was, we decided it was one that we didn't have on camera.
Okay.
And I FaceTimed my dad because he was up and he was working. It was one of the weekdays, so we wanted to rub it in.
Just rub it in,
right?
Yeah, that's how we work. That's how we roll in our family. But I told him like buck down, whatever, and he's like, oh, is your brother seeing anything? And as I look back, because I could see him in his stand, I look back and he's in his stand, full drawn on one that was like I think like 115 or 120.
Awesome.
Drops his, and it's like the easiest recovery ever because we're like literally 100 yards. A deer were 100 yards from each other.
That's perfect.
Super cool. Like,
heck yeah,
15 minutes apart. Don't think you'll ever top a day like that.
That's a great story.
It's pretty sick.
And I'm picturing in my head, it's probably nothing like the spot, but I've got a pretty good visual of where you're sitting. It sounds awesome. Sounds.
It's great for rut. Other than that, it sucks.
I'm sure. Hey, but if you're there at the right time, timing is everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool too because we were teasing my dad. We're like, because there was a third one we saw that was up the ridge a ways after he shot his.
Okay.
There was a third one that was probably a little bit bigger than mine.
Oh wow.
And we're like, yeah, if you were there, you would have shot, but
you
were
working. Sitting in your stand.
Yeah. But,
that's awesome.
Yeah, man. But dude, I feel like I could keep doing this for hours, but I know if we do that, I'm gonna be exhausted for tomorrow.
All right. Yeah, you guys got
part 4 coming up.
Part 4?
Yeah, because this is what, your third time on, right?
This is 3, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so part 4 will be next.
All right, let's do it.
Tuma time.
Let's touch base after 1 or 2 of the first opens.
Yeah, we'll make this a thing. It's got to be a sequel. We'll just keep going.
I'm good. If the people that watch this stuff can handle it, let's do this.
People love it when it's Tuma time, so we're gonna have to keep doing it.
Well, thanks to all of them as well. That's awesome.
Well, folks, Keith does have social media.
Thank you so much for having me. Social media at Keith Tuma Fishing on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't been on Facebook much lately. My bad. Sorry.
You're good, dude. All of your social that is active, I have listed in the show notes, so everybody can go and follow it. Make it super easy. Highly encourage everybody to go follow along Keith in his journey when he makes his podcast.
Fairly much stuff. I like like I said, I'm trying to do this social media thing, but you know what? I'm fighting it at the same time. Just let me do my thing. I'll come talk on podcasts. This is great because it seems way more personal to me, or personable, both actually, personal and personable. I don't know. Let's keep with the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you make your podcast, then people will know where to go listen.
I just don't see myself having time for that. So let's just keep me as host of Serious Angler, our part-time host, and yeah, we can work something out with that.
Deal. You take my gig.
No. I need you here to ask the questions at least, and go on your little rants and establish your dominance.
Oh my gosh, it's never gonna hear the end of that.
No.
I love
Might
it.
have to make you a new shirt.
Yeah. Well, Keith, dude, as always, we appreciate you. And
thank you so much for
obviously we'll be in touch.
Please do. Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah. Well, good luck. We're gonna keep up with you, and
awesome.
We'll talk to you soon, man.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
See you, Keith. Buddy. Oh man, Tuma time. It's always good.
Of fresh air. It's always good to talk to Keith.
This was the one thing I love about Keith is that you could talk about literally anything, and if he has no idea about that subject, he can hold the conversation. That's what I love about it. We can talk about the most random. He's laughing at that.
I think he just spit out whatever he's drinking.
It's the most I love it though. It's one of the coolest people to talk to. Always the happiest person in the room, and I applaud that because I'm jealous. I wish I could be that person. I'm trying to be. Keith is always is one to help push it that way. So it's super cool, and I'm excited to keep up with him this season. And I'm looking forward to coming to Buffalo, having some beers and going fishing with him.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Hey, he said it earlier, and he put me on the spot. But yeah, I do owe him a trip. Yeah.
Are you gonna put him on the Hobie PA and paddle him out in the lake? I'm gonna torpedo him out into the lake.
That's right. I'm gonna take an inner tube, strap it to the Hobie. He can sit in it with a swim trunk.
Man, just put reverse seats in, right? Like a front and back, and then one can cast off the back and the other can cast off the front.
Yeah, that'll go over well. Yeah. We're gonna go hijack your boat. Is what we're gonna do.
That's fine. I don't care. So
no, that'll be fun when he comes up. We'll have to make a trip of it, and I'm sure everybody will know. Maybe we'll do an in-person podcast then. Hopefully, we'll have our remote setup. That way, we can do it on the boat instead. That'll be even better. We do have plans for that for everybody that's listening. So we just need to get the tech set up, and we should be ready to rock. But Andy, anything the folks should know before we sign off tonight?
Nothing really is new at the moment. So no, not really.
Okay.
Just status quo as usual. Besides, stay tuned for more Lure Lab podcasts and episodes that are coming down the pipeline. It should be fun the next few.
Yep, check that out. New one dropping tomorrow. Links are down below. And next Tuesday night live, Monday, business from the Bass Boat. Deacon had on the new owner from Outcast Tackle, who just purchased the company. So you got them on. It's going to be a great show on Monday. And then Tuesday Night Live is with Mr. Spencer Sheffield. So that's going to be a lot of fun, as well as on next Thursday. It's going to be, we don't have our guest list complete, but Hayden Anderson from Out Towards Keith's Way is going to be joining us. We're going to do a little smallmouth juice. We're going to try to get people on from the Midwest. We're going to have Andy here from the Northeast, and we're going to try to get a Southeast and a West to try to do like some smallmouth juice, like in terms of like sneaky baits or techniques that no one really hears about for big smallies. We're going to try to cover each corner of the map from a smallmouth standpoint. So that could be pretty fun. That should be a fun episode for next Friday. So as always, folks, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next week.